Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
Hi, this is Pat Fraley, purveyor of Duck, Dog, and villain voices, and you're watching Altered Geek.
Returning for its second year is GrandCon Gaming and Comics Convention on September 19th through the 21st at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This year, be prepared for more. With a guest list that easily doubles that of last year's, with artists such as Mark McKenna or game publishers like Jeff Grubb, it's easy to want to come check them out. There will be a silent charity auction, tons of panels for gaming and comics fans, and the list goes on and on. Registration is open. For more information, visit the website grand-con.com.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited, episode 53. We are live for the first time, and if you're watching this later than when it was live, or you're listening to the podcast format of it, then it is live via tape delay. So at least you'll get to hear that. I am your sometimes host, Michael Powers, and I am joined by the host that's always been here for 53 episodes, right? Or were you gone for one?
Yep, other than one episode, I think.
Okay, fine. The host for 52 other episodes, Steve Megatron Phillips. How you doing, Steve?
Yo. What is up?
Not much. Still recovering from the, I don't want to say, well, yeah, I'll say it, epic fun that was had doing Off the Cuff Live last night, which was, I think, pretty fun.
I actually watched the video.
Now, see, I'm torn with what to do with it. Because what happens is I have all the guys positioned in such a way that you're not, well, kind of like I'm kind of breaking my own rule right now. You're not supposed to sit dead on with the camera.
Okay.
And the idea being that if you wanted to download said video from YouTube to edit it, you have space to put a graphic or something in the dead space next to the person. So like insert, Kermit the Frog here.
Yeah. Nice poke.
So that's what that actually turned out awesome because it was a PNG with the invisible background. So it looked like he was right there with you.
That was actually kind of funny when that was in the video. I was like, oh, that's different.
So, but I'm torn between just shooting the show because it immediately gets posted to YouTube. When this is done, it'll immediately go up on YouTube in an archive. And you can choose to make it private so people can't see it until you're done tweaking it. Or you can just throw it up there and let it go unedited. And that's what I did with the first episode of Off the Cuff Live is I just threw it up there unedited. It's a kitty.
She did this to me on my Altered Geek Unleashed revival episode. I was talking in mid-conversation and the cat comes up and starts doing this to me.
Shh, stop talking. So, yeah, it gets thrown up there, but you can mark it as private, and you can download a video file to your computer to edit it, to add in graphics and whatnot. So I'm torn between wanting to do that and then just getting it up as soon as possible. Like, one is like minimal fuss. It's just too funny.
It's hard to keep the straight face when this cat's doing that.
So one is minimal fuss. The other one requires a little bit of work on my end, mainly that I have to find time to sit down and... Because I want the video file to go up, but I want it to be up for like a week before the audio file goes up. Which is what's going to happen. But I feel like if there's a delay in posting the video by even like a day or two, then that idea is like shot. Because I don't have the time to like if I want to mess with video, I'm going to want to do like a pretty good job and find good art to go in the negative space that's in all of our shots. So like if we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 5, I'm going to want to find some funny picture that has to do with
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5, you know? And so we'll see what happens with that, but that's just something I'm kind of toying with, and I've got us all, geared up. And some of us didn't have very good cameras. Joe had like some ancient 90s era, early 2000 era camera, which is why he was in 4x3.
And the Tetris God music.
Yep, that was his cell phone going. That literally happened as soon as we hit the record button.
That was hilarious.
I wish I hadn't locked the camera to myself because it was pretty funny seeing all the reactions across the bottom. But it was good times. Just gonna have to see what happens. I mean, we had one person that said they were watching live, but they didn't feel like commenting on anything like that. And like I said, the being able to pull the comments into the live stream is something that I'm going to work on. There's a way to do it, but it's very cumbersome. It's like you have to reshare. You have to reshare the event link, and then people can only comment on Google Plus. Like it won't pull in there's a way to pull in the YouTube comments too. But I'm not familiar with all that stuff yet. I just wanted to work on getting it actually up on the air, and people can tweet us their questions while we're live on the air. They can either tweet me at see, look, I did a lower third this time. You can tweet me at BoothNinja81, or you can tweet Steve at SCP21.
Yep, at SCP21 there.
So, Steve, you started your video show back up. What have you been doing? How's that going for you?
I've been toying around with Adobe Premiere, trying to learn how to do it all again, considering I haven't actually done any real video editing since I had media class at community college, and we used Final Cut Pro 7, which is very similar, except I had to learn how to use a Mac at the same time, which wasn't too bad, but a lot of that information came in handy for using Premiere. I just had to figure out the right way to do it, because I remade the intro with new graphics, and then I remade the outro with new graphics, which on the first episode I wasn't quite happy with how the images turned out, so I redid them again, the outro. So I actually made a separate intro outro and made another one for the second episode that I'm going to shoot soon-ish.
Okay.
So.
Now, I don't want to jump the gun here, but we did. Can you show the banner for Grand Con, or is it too big?
Yeah, funny thing enough, I checked multiple local graphics places, and like one wanted 90, one wanted 75, one wanted like 80 something. Staples.com was my best friend. Because
hey, look at that! It's a banner for Grand Con.
Yep. And it's actually bigger than what I anticipated, and it's got the QR code.
Well, that makes me happy, because now we won't look like a bunch of hobos sitting at a table.
I know this. Well, plus, I mean, this only was like 25, which isn't squat. I could have easily pissed that away, but it's got grommets in it, so that, and a little bit heavier duty vinyl. I wasn't. I mean, it's not super heavy duty, but it was better than the original option that was selected. So it actually was like 14, and then with all the additions, it was like 25. So, but yeah, it'll look nice this year. Instead of that printed out piece of paper, it says GCRN, like what we had last year.
Right. Last year, I had fun last year, but we didn't know what to expect, and now we're going into it knowing what to expect.
Yeah, we didn't have a clue what was going on last year at Grand Con, and it was strange. And then plus I had I had flyers, which were okay, but this year we're going to have some CDs with MP3s of various podcast episodes, and um, probably those flyers, if they're still relevant.
Right.
I don't remember what they look like, so I actually have to dig them back out.
Is that the Into Darkness poster I gave you?
Yes.
Okay.
When Mary put it up the first time, the funny thing was is she put it up backwards, and I didn't realize that the image was on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Star Trek Into Darkness was written backwards.
Nice.
And she's like, that's retarded. Why would they put it on there backwards? And she actually had it on a different wall. And I looked at it, and I'm like, okay. And I took it off the wall to move it, and then I realized it was on both sides, and moved it.
Little tidbit for most people: beyond the size of a movie poster, an actual, what I'll call an official movie poster, is actually double-sided. So just like you said, the image is printed on the back too, but it's like backwards. So like most movie posters you might see, some people they get like at a Walmart out of like the poster bin. Like it'll look like the movie poster, but when you look at the back of it, it'll all just be white. Actual movie posters don't look that way. The image kind of, I don't want to say it like bleeds through, because it's not like fuzzy or anything. It's like
It's like they
legitimately
printed it on
back.
both sides.
Yep, exactly. So that's something to think about if someone's trying to sell you a movie poster and they say it's 100% legit, official. Ask to see the back side of it, and then contemplate how much money they're asking you for. So,
yep.
I brought a couple things to show for the live show that I thought might be neat. If I run out of stuff, I got into. Well, we all know that I like Legos. And one of my favorite things when I started really getting back into them, I liked Legos as a kid, and I have like Lego sets. They're now in my garage, but I've got like, I used to buy Lego sets and cannibalize them to create, like different Lego sets. Like I got really into like the Diver series that they released in the late '90s, and so like I made an entire giant, like, it's like a catamaran diving vessel.
Nice.
That has like. And I took all the subs, and they all have like their own cranes, and I made this like crane structure. It's a really cool set, and I've had it for 15 years now. It's been together, and that's in the garage. I have no place to display it. It's kind of big and it doesn't look very nice. Like it's definitely made by me 15 years ago. But I really got into Legos again in the last 5 years now. No. Wow, feels like it's been forever. Since like 2009, like when Lego introduced their architecture series, I really got into that because I like architecture and I like Legos. And one of the interesting things that they did is they created and I love skyscrapers. So like this is the Burj, I never know how to pronounce the name of this, the Burj Khalifa from Dubai, the world's tallest tower. It's kind of neat. Has down at the bottom a custom little custom.
I've seen some of those type things like that before in the store.
Yeah, I like the architecture series because it's kind of, you get the, and like I said, I like the skyscrapers. My mom was in Chicago with my sister, and she got me the Sears Tower before they renamed it the Willis Tower. So I have the Sears Tower architecture set, and the nameplate says Sears, and the new one, they still make it, but now it says Willis.
Yeah, I've seen the one that says Willis.
Yeah, I'm always like contemplating buying that set again just so I can have both. But that's that. And then there's the set that I got for my birthday, which, pardon me while I scoot back in my chair here. I got this bad boy.
Oh, wow.
As you can see, it's rather large. Look at that. There. Right in the camera, staring right at you. It's got this little thing on the back of it. If you twist it. Oh Oh, what's happening? Whoa. Behold, the magic of Technic Legos.
That's pretty awesome. I used to have the Sith Infiltrator back in the day.
Now, see, I have this is called the Ultimate Collector Series, is what LEGO calls this. When I was a kid, they used to have a series called Model Team. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But it's a series called Model Team, and it's basically the same idea, only they had, they were massive sets, and there was like a Porsche, a Ferrari, Oh, hey, comment. Scanner from Scanner 51. Watching you guys do the live show. Way to go. Thank you, Scanner 51.
Yes, thank you.
But there was the Model Team sets. Anyways, they were kind of like the Ultimate Collector Series. It was a literal set where you had to build every single piece of the set. It wasn't like most LEGO sets where some of it's like partially assembled. You had to build every single little piece, and I was too little to obviously have something like that. But now that I'm older, I'm more interested in the Ultimate Collector Series stuff. And I have another one. It's another Star Wars one. It's the B-Wing, which is my favorite Star Wars vehicle. Maybe later while Steve's entertaining you guys, I'll go out in the other room and grab it real quick and show it off. But I also started collecting the Lego Star Wars back in 1999 when they first came out. And I had the Lego B-Wing. So I've got my little cheap-ass Lego B-Wing set from 1999 sitting next to this ginormous Ultimate Collector's set edition of the B-Wing, and it's just a really funny juxtaposition. It's like, here's how you make it really cheaply out of Legos, and here's how you make it really detailed out of Legos. And I wanted to do the same thing with the X-Wing, because I had the X-Wing from 1999 as well, and I went over to my parents' house to get the X-Wing, and my little brother had taken it apart.
Aw, boo.
And not only not taking it apart like in pieces where it's like I could put it back together, like tore down to individual pieces. Like, could not put it back together. I was livid, to say the least.
I have two Lego creations still. Well, technically three. One of them was I don't know if you remember the space, like the black and the kind of...
The Blacktron?
What was it?
Blacktron?
It might have been.
Is it black with like a yellow triangle?
It didn't have that. It's like a robot that's about 9-10 inches tall, and it's got a head that comes off of it, and you can take like this little rover that fits into the back and put it on top. And it's got like these levers for where you can lock the arms in place, and it's got a magnet on one end.
I know what that is. It's oh my god.
I can't remember the name of it. I've had that
Magnetron?
for years. What is it?
Magnetron? I know what set that is. Oh my gosh.
I still have it though.
I think it's Magnetron. And I'm not stupid. I know that sounds like the dumbest name, but they had their space sets were like Blacktron, Magnetron, Ultron was even one of their Legos, like the space Lego sets. By the way, just real quick here, Scanner 51, he asks, would Twitter be the only way to interact with you guys while on live? No live comment thing on YouTube? You can comment on YouTube, Scanner. Steve may get an email. We haven't quite figured out how to get the comments to stream in so we can see them live in the show without having to go to another party for it. So we recommended Twitter because we both have our phones right next to us and can grab that stuff really fast. We'll work on that. I'm kind of the one pushing for like the live show and stuff like that, so I kind of put it on myself to figure out how all this works. But that's coming. That's coming. This is all work in progress. We've only done two and a half live shows, so
yeah. I mean, eventually we'll figure it out. I'm sure.
So if you guys have, but if you have any questions or anything or want to interact with your opinions, you can go ahead and do that. Let's see. So what's the other Lego set that you have? You have
it's another space-ish one, and it's black and orange. It was like years later that it came out.
That might be after that might be in that dark period where I wasn't paying attention to what Lego was doing. There was a dark period after they started licensing like everything that was like popular, like Harry Potter and stuff like that, where I just stopped paying attention to what they were doing. But this actually, I think in time for Thursday's episode, the next episode of Off the Cuff Live, I'll have the Tumblr.
Oh, I can't wait to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that because I think it's supposed to come out on September 1st, but I was told when I went down to the Lego store to get, well, my birthday presents, they said they were going to release it early for Lego VIP members, and I'm a Lego VIP member, so it's supposed to come out on the 18th. So hopefully my plan is to go pick it up on Monday and build it while I'm at work on Monday night.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for that, and if I have it, I will definitely show it off on next week's not off the cuff, Alter Geek Unlimited. So, but that's about all I brought for show and tell. Unfortunately, do we have any like feedback from last week's episode queued up?
Actually, I do.
I think we're getting bombarded with tweets here.
Bombarded? What's that like?
He took a Tonka truck to the X-Wing? No, he did not take a Tonka truck to the X-Wing. By all accounts, he says that he took it outside. My brother said he took the X-Wing outside, and apparently between taking it outside and bringing it back in, he ended up breaking it down to its core pieces. Made me really sad. Not sad, mad. I've never wanted to kill anybody until that moment.
It's still bothering me. I'm trying to figure out what the heck this Lego set is that I have, and I can't for the life of me. It's a part of that 1990s / 80s space-ish program. I found a picture of it, but not with the name and not in the box. I'll have to throw that in there in the.
You can do a screen share.
Yeah, I haven't quite figured that one out yet. So
that's not hard.
But
it's not that tough to do.
It's the Spyrus.
Yes, there you
Robo
go.
Guardian Spyrus. I have that.
Okay.
The other one I still haven't found the picture of yet to show off.
Is it the Magnetron? Was I wrong about that?
It's black and orange. It came out years later after this era of the space.
Oh, okay. Wait, okay, you're talking. Okay, now we're on the same page. Let me see. I'm not on my computer, so I don't. I'm on my computer, but not on my Mac partition, so I don't have access to all my bookmarks. I have a great site for Legos, for fans of Legos, that I can maybe send you, and you can put it in the.
Yeah, because the Robo Guardian is the Spyrus, which I still have. It's
Choose a theme. Space. 320 space sets. Here, I'll show 200.
I found it.
You found it?
Yes, it was in there with. It's the because it's under the 6 ugliest space Lego sets.
Do we know what year it was?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I pulled it up on the Google Images.
Is it the Robo Raider?
It might be. My Spyrus one is on the ugliest list.
Robo Stalker?
It's the Spyrus Robo Guardians in '94, and then this one is the Robo Stalker.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
I have both.
Man.
I love those Lego sets. I can't believe I still have them. But I really do like those a lot.
So while we're on the topic of Legos, I have a very heartwarming tale to tell about Legos, and my best friend that I've had for 20 some odd years, like 24 years now. When we were kids, Lego had this space series called Ice Planet 2000. All the Lego sets were blue and white and black and orange, and they came with skis because they were, on the ice planet. Well, my friend had this one where it was like a off-roading type big monster thing with a magnet, and it had like a giant missile on the back of it. And I was like, when we were kids, I was like, hey, can I borrow this? And he was like, yeah, you can go ahead and borrow it. He never got it back. And it ended up in with all the rest of my Legos, broken down into little pieces and everything. And, he was upset with me at the time, but we kind of got over it. And 2 years ago, for his birthday, I went on eBay and found that set. And I bought it for him and gave it to him had it sent to him for his birthday. And it wasn't like a sealed set or anything. It was like someone had it from when they were a kid, and it came to him. It got sent to him in a Ziploc baggie with the instructions and all the pieces. And the first thing he sent to me was he thanked me for it like crazy. He said this is like the best thing ever. And then he goes, did you sort all this? Did you go and find all these pieces? Like he asked me, he's like, did you just buy the instruction manual and go and find all the pieces in your Legos? And I could have said, yes, that's what I did. But I didn't. I told him that I bought it. But he got it back. Some 22 years later, he got that Lego set back, and he has it on his desk at work. He sends me pictures of it all the time.
Nice.
That's probably like one of the most sentimental things I've ever done outside of asking my wife to marry me and then following through with it.
I think I don't know if it's going to work, but I have the YouTube page pulled up on a separate tab. So TFG1 Mike put in there 8 minutes ago. He took a Tonka truck to the X-Wing, which he also posted on Twitter.
Yeah, well, so we can pull up the YouTube thing, but it won't refresh in real time.
It's crap.
And it also interferes with showing you how many people are viewing because you count as a viewer.
That's weird. Yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
We'll get it figured out one of these days.
But Scanner 51 says again, he says, "Gentlemen, what's on the bookshelves behind you?"
Oh, here we go. You want to go first?
The fun part.
You go first.
Okay. The entire wall behind me. Once I figure out what direction I have to turn, all of that. That's about it's about a third of my movie collection. And mind you, there's another shelf down lower, next to the red bucket that's down there. I have an entire 5-shelf bookshelf filled with DVDs, some of them overlapping, and then some of them not. Each section is categorized, as strange as that may be, by TV show, comedy, Adam Sandler films, SNL films, drama, horror, thriller, action. The other set of that is out in the living room, and then I have more that are on an external drive. But yeah, and then that's my old computer chair in the background that I can't seem to move out of the way of. But yeah,
are you having trouble because your camera's reversed?
It could be. Well, no, I'm actually in the right direction. It's just
okay, because I was gonna say I did the thing where I flipped it so my lower third is backwards to me, and that helps me know which way I'm leaning in the camera. Like
yeah, see if I turn on my lower third, I can actually move in the correct direction. The reverse thing. But that's what I had. I had it so I could see the words the correct direction. Which is
well, if you hit the little arrow, that back arrow, it'll flip it around and everything should look the right way. It won't flip it for you. It'll just flip it for. It won't flip it for the audience. It'll just flip it for everybody else. On my side, first of all, those aren't my books. My wife buys books the way that I buy video games, which means I don't think she's read. She's read less than half of those, I think. And she's in the next room, so if she charges in here saying something about the amount of books that she reads, then that's on me. Up at the top, she was. Well, first of all, this entire bookshelf. I'm actually in her room. This is what we call my green room, or it's the green room for our house. This is her room. This is where she games. So this bookshelf is all hers, but she was nice enough to give me a couple spots on it. I have a Lego firehouse up at the top. That's too big to actually like move down here comfortably. I have the Lego Architecture White House up at the top.
Oh, nice.
Up there. Behind that, I have the Uncharted 3 collector's set, which is basically an armoire with a belt buckle and the Drake necklace and stuff like that in it. I have, you'll see the Batman trilogy, Blu-ray trilogy up at the top.
Okay.
Followed by some anniversary edition of The Wizard of Oz on Blu-ray, which looks fantastic. And then behind that is the Lost Collection on Blu-ray, which I bought and never watched. I also have the Ultimate Calvin and Hobbes collection in paperback on the shelf. I also have the Ultimate Calvin and Hobbes collection in hardcover. I have 2 copies of the Ultimate Calvin and Hobbes collection because I like Calvin and Hobbes. Let's see. That's my wife's gaming TV over there. And then the entertainment center. Yada, yada, yada. The big boy stuff. My stuff is out in the family room. So.
Nice.
But that's what we've got going on. Maybe next week, I mean, I'm not like the show's ending right now, but maybe next week I'll bring in some more stuff from, the family room to show you guys.
Yep. And I looked at this, which is what I brought with me last year.
Yep.
The only thing technically not relevant with it, well, I mean, it'll still be relevant at the time, is I've changed the logos for some of the podcasts on here. Like MWire, Altered Geek, GeekCast Radio, All Things Transformers, which All Things Transformers and Legends of the Dark Knight and From the Command Center are ending. Right. So they're still active as of this point, so it's still alright, but
I was gonna say, you know what would be fitting, and well, I mean, it'd be more off the cuffish than GeekCast Radio-ish. It'd be just to take the flyer and cross off what's not relevant and just put it out.
Just a big old black X over top.
Hey, it works.
I still have my Grand Con badge from last year.
I don't know where mine. I don't know if I have mine anymore. Oh, here's my microphone. Look, we can show these to you people now. Look, I got
yeah.
Blue Nessie. This here.
Here's mine, the Blue Yeti. It's and I have my pop screen filter on it, which is rubber banded in place because it likes to fall over because of the sheer weight. That my cat likes to smack it.
Smack it up, smack it up, smack it up.
Yep.
The backside, what you guys can't see, I mean, the other contribution that my wife let me have in the green room, because I do these podcasts and stuff like that, is she let me put a desk in here. What you can't see behind my computer, which is a notebook, is just a complete mess on my desk. I've got beer bottles and pop cans, as I show you a picture of my keyboard and the rest of my body. Hard drives, connector cables. I think I've got 4 external hard drives sitting behind my computer.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a hodgepodge of stuff. 4 external hard drives and what's this? A bare hard drive. Ooh, yay! Just leave them laying out in the open. Anyone want a 40 gigabyte hard drive?
I've got this nifty little.
Is that a scanner?
Nope, that's actually a
Soundboard?
sound mixer.
Wait, is it a sound board or a sound mixer?
It's a soundboard. It's got a thing for special effects and recording, and it's a 24 track built-in hard drive. So eventually I'll have to play around with that.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna go grab some of my. I have 3 posters that are in poster cases. I'm gonna bring them in here. I want to show people stuff. We're doing a live show. We have a video feed. Let's do this. I'll be right back. Keep them entertained with something. Go find your cat.
Yeah. Come here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Myra. Come here, kitty. Come here. Don't sass me. Yeah, my cat likes to talk back when I podcast or when I do character voices. She will stand up and she'll go at me just because I'm annoying her, which is actually quite funny. Yeah, she's giving me the scowl right now on the other chair. She's sorry for my big old hand being in the way. See, that's my cat sitting in the chair. For those that are watching this at any point, that's my cat. So she thinks it's funny to sit with her back turned to me and ignore me and make rah sound. I will bring my masterpiece Optimus Prime to put him on here. It's the actual first release of Optimus Prime. It had more of a, I don't know, had to make it safe for kids. So they put battle damage on him and they cut his smokestacks down, which I don't quite understand why they did that. So they've come out with, I think, 3 or 4 other ones since then, and they're coming out with another one again that's fully G1 accurate, like with the head and all the features on the Optimus Prime. So,
all right. So what I miss?
I talked about Masterpiece Optimus Prime.
Okay.
Did not show him, but I talked about him.
Can't find him, or
no, he's actually right there. I was just waiting for you to get back so that I can stand up and not have my crotch in the camera.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and talk. So I actually went out there and I grabbed some movie posters and I grabbed the B-Wing that I was talking about out of Legos. First, I'm going to show the Lego B-Wing from 1999. It's this very, very simple little Lego set. However, the cool thing about it is the cockpit does kind of gyroscope slightly like the B-Wing is supposed to, which I find to be the coolest thing about it. If anyone doesn't know what the B-Wing looks like, this is what it looks like in the Star Wars movies. Something like this. You see it once or twice in Return of the Jedi, but my fascination with it comes from when I was a kid and I had the Return of the Jedi toys. I had the B-Wing, and the cockpit for the B-Wing, the fancy thing about it, because you know all toys have to have a moving part in order for kids to be fascinated with it, was the cockpit. The cockpit on the toy actually gyroscoped, and it was made by Kenner, and I had that as a kid, and I thought that was the coolest thing, that no matter which way I tipped this thing, the cockpit stayed right side up. So this spaceship that has like maybe 30 seconds of screen time in the Return of the Jedi movie became one of my favorite toys as a kid, and thus I am fascinated with that particular thing. Now that is the 1999 version. I went and grabbed the Ultimate Collector set off of my bookshelf out where all my cool toys are. And here is the big boy. As you can see, it is much larger.
Oh, wow.
My only complaint with it, and it's rather dusty, I apologize for that if that's coming through on the camera at all. My only complaint with it is that the cockpit does not, well, it swivels. Well, I can swivel it. Like so. It is not weighted enough to spin on its own like the cheaper, 15-year-old set is. This is one of those sets where you have to build the entire thing. There it is, fully extended out, up.
Wow, that's pretty big.
It's fairly big. Now, The cool thing about this is that because the ship is symmetrical, like when it's sitting like this, it's symmetrical. You actually, when you're building it, you actually build like this half, and then you build this half, and they get stuck together by Technic pieces. So you build two halves of it, and then you snap them together, and this top part actually snaps off too because it's a completely, like it's in 3 different pieces when you're putting it together. That took me about 6 hours to put that together, and it took me about 4 or 5 hours to put together the X-Wing that I showed you guys earlier. Now, before I move on to my next show and tell thing, Steve, you got your Transformer?
Yes, I do. It is Optimus Prime.
That's an Optimus Prime.
Yep, and he's giving everybody the finger. So, yes, there's articulation and everything. See, there's battle damage right on the grill there, and then
now battle damage, is that from you or is that from the? Is that
factory.
actually on it?
It's all factory, and then they have some right there on his wrist, and then all over on the figure. I don't know why they did that, and honestly, I think it's kind of retarded. But I do like the fact that you have all these moving gears, like on the back of like the arms. When you move them, they it's like the.
Excuse me. That's actually
it's like
pretty
the
cool.
pistons go in and out on the arms, and the funny part about the legs is it does the same thing, but when you press on it like that, the vents open up.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
And it's
now this might sound kind of weird. Does it transform or is it just Optimus
it
Prime?
totally transforms.
Okay.
It actually comes with his rifle, which there were on the first version there were 2 different paint schemes for the gun. One of them was completely gray, and the other one was this one, which is completely black, other than like the blue and the little piece of silver.
Except for where it's colored.
And it comes with Megatron and gun mode. It comes with the Energon Battle Axe. You can actually push. You can actually put his hand inside of his forearm. For the life of me, I can't remember how to do it.
We're forming a Transformer live on air.
Yeah,
It's taking forever.
Well,
Just
there's
messing with you.
this mechanism which allows you to pull the hand up and down, which I forgot up until just then. And then he's got a communicator on both arms. This one, for whatever reason, has Starscream.
Well, because he's a turncoat.
Yeah, and then the other side has Bumblebee on it, I think. I haven't transformed this thing in years. It's stayed in robot mode because whenever I move, the sheer amount of space it takes when it's in truck mode is actually worse than if I just left him in robot. And then his chest actually opens up.
I wonder how many Transformers fans are getting aroused right now by you trying to transform him.
Well, I'm doing part of it, and see, this is it still lights up. Still the original battery. The Matrix does come out. And these pieces snap in place and everything, and the head, part of the eyes light up through the Matrix and everything else. But I guess they got a new version coming out, and it looks like this is more accurate to the comics, like during the Dreamwave time. And the newer one that's coming out is accurate to the G1 cartoon.
Okay.
Completely, and like the head sculpt is even different. So I think that's kind of neat. And I'd probably get it if it were for the fact that I don't really want to buy another one. because they've released Prime like 4 or 5 times at this point. And it's pretty much the same figure other than the little bit that they come with. That's different. Like one of the Primes came with a trailer, one of them came with some other added piece, and I mean it's just different reasons to pick it up, and I don't have that kind of money.
Right. Let's see. We got a question here from Scanner 51 again. He says, "How long does it take you to put together a Lego set? I got that B-wing from 1983 on my Star Wars shelf." One, he's talking about the Kenner toy that I was talking about when I was talking about the gyroscoping of the B-wing that I love. What's really cool is every summer, twice a year, my friend over on Off the Cuff, Joe Reed, hosts the Geek Garage Sale in Grand Rapids, which I don't know. Have you been to yet, Steve? You haven't been to that yet, have you? Oh, you're muted. You're still muted.
Yeah, I had it muted. I forgot.
Okay.
I didn't want it switching to the screen.
But yeah,
But
you haven't been to the Geek Sale yet, have you?
no, I haven't.
Okay.
I know that you've gotten some pretty cool stuff at it before.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things that I found the last time I was out there was a guy had all this Star Wars stuff, and he had the B-wing out there. Now, it wasn't like it was the one that they did where it's like, we're going to bring back the classic Star Wars Lego set. So it was only like 2 or 3 years old, but it was the same B-wing, the same mold as the one from like the 83 B-wing, and I was really tempted to buy it because I was like, man, that'd be really nice to have. But you know what? For some reason, it didn't look as cool as the Lego B-wing that I have. Although I would really like to own that again as an adult because, like I said, it is my favorite. It's one of those things where it's like I see it and I gotta buy it because I want to collect them all. But as far as putting together a Lego set, it really depends on like pretty much anything else. It depends on the Lego set, right? The B-wing and the X-wing were well over 2,000 or just under 2,000 pieces a piece, and some of the pieces in there are really, really tiny, which is why it took me so long to put it. Plus, the more kid-oriented sets have fewer pieces, and I can actually, when I was a kid growing up, I could put together a Lego set by looking at the box. I wouldn't even have to look at the instructions. I could just look at a picture of it and put the set together. But now I can look at a Lego set and I can be like, I can see how they did that, or I can figure, I can see how they did that and I can do that. But when I sit down with the instructions and I start putting it together, they're putting it together in completely different ways than I ever would. Ways than would ever cross my mind. And the sets are much cooler for it. One of the sets that is apparent with is the John Hancock set, the architecture series. Like, you look at it and it seems like it's a very simple, just a black tower. But when you start building it and you see what they did to get the pieces to line up the way they did, it's kind of like, wow, that's actually kind of impressive. So yeah, it really just varies. The other thing kind of has to do with like how you choose to build a Lego set. Like, for example, myself, I like to dump all the pieces out in a big ass pile, like all of them, and sort through it to find every single piece. Some of my friends prefer to open up all the pieces and then sort them by their shape and maybe even their color. Not me. Just dump them all in a pile.
I've dumped them in a pile, but I've also gone to the extent of separating them by type of piece. I don't necessarily do them by color. I just do type of piece. Granted, I haven't had to put one together in years. I only have those two things left. Actually, the funny thing is I don't know if you remember they called them Throwbots.
Nope.
It was like a Technic type piece, but they had like a arm that was super bendable.
Is that after Bionicle?
It was actually before.
Okay, then I don't remember.
It's what spawned Bionicle and the stuff around it. It came out around 99.
Yeah, I wasn't growing up. I wasn't big into Technic. I like anything Technic. I was kind of like turned off by because I couldn't make Technic stuff. All had a bunch of holes in it. I couldn't make it look like anything I wanted to make it look like. But being adult again, seeing how some of these, like especially the Ultimate Collector series, how they get put together, they're put together using Technic pieces, and then they use like the plating of a regular Lego piece over top of it. So it's like you're building the thing from the inside out. You're building the actual structure of it.
Yeah, I actually had two of the Throwbots. I wasn't a fan of Technic when I was younger. I think they're kind of cool how they work now, but my brother's got a few, and then I don't know what the hell they're called now. I mean, they had the Bionicle, and then they got something else that came out. But they had like a way that you could kind of splice them all together. And they had these like little circular discs that you could, like I said, fling or whatever. I had the one that was like the water one called Sub, and they came in these little shuttle pods, which were kind of cool. And I basically made him like the kind of like hard ass. I gave him all my special pieces that I could add to him,
Right.
and then I had another one that was it transformed, which was weird. It was one of the early ones of that too, but I don't have that one anymore. I just have the one that's in the shuttle pod.
All right. I see. While you were explaining, it was kind of jogging my memory. Like I didn't own any of them, but I vaguely remember seeing like a commercial or at least seeing them on like store shelves. But I remember like just buying them. Not to make this like the Lego podcast or anything, but I remember going to the store and picking out a Lego set to buy just because it had a piece that I didn't have.
I have done that.
Like there was at least a dozen Lego sets that I've bought because they had one or two pieces that I could see in them that it's like I don't have that piece, and I can only imagine all the crazy stuff I could do if I had that piece. So I would, drop my, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks just for that set, just for that piece, and go home and do something. That ship that I told you guys about that I have in my garage, that ship is entirely all that. Like, just going and buying sets and cannibalizing it. I took one. There is one set that I bought because I wanted the sub that came with it. It had a separate docking station, and what I did is instead of building that docking station on the platform that came with the Lego set, I took the instructions and I built that structure on my boat instead of on the tile that they wanted me to build it on. I was like, this looks kind of cool. I'll go ahead. I'll just build it right here on my boat. So I followed the instructions and I just changed the platform that it was being built on, which was my boat, instead of this little standalone thing. So I did bring some other stuff though to show, if unless you've got something you want to show right now.
Well, I actually found the Throwbot.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, and I know I got to turn my screen. I just recently went through all of my toys and all my crap I've had over the years that I've dumped and separated them into things that went into my crawl space and then into things that I wanted in my display pack that I may or may not actually put out on this. I have this ledge that goes around my office, which
I see
you
it.
can see.
Is that a dummies book over there or a phone book?
Yeah, it's Home Improvement for Dummies. My mom borrowed it. I don't actually. I haven't opened it. That's what YouTube's for. So this whole ledge that goes around, it actually goes around to the other wall. It's just the two walls, and I actually have all my stuff displayed on it. But this is what the Throwbots came in when they came out. And they say Technic on them.
Okay.
But anyways, they open up, and I can't remember what the heck I put in here, but They open up like that, so it's like a shuttlecraft. I actually used to use them as stasis pods for Beast Wars. Missed opportunity, but and I have a Star Trek Enterprise A ship from
Is that a Micro Machine?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's the only Micro Machine I have left, which is actually funny because you had to buy the pack of 30 to get the Enterprise A. And I already had most of them more than once.
Yep.
And you could not get this stupid ship without buying the entire kit. And I wanted, because Star Trek 6 is my favorite Trek film, so they feature Enterprise A, and so that's been my favorite since. So I've got that, and then I actually have the battle damaged Star Trek Enterprise A that came out from Hot Wheels like 2-3 years ago, and it's actually it's about the same size as the shuttle right here. But here's my Throwbot.
That's not ringing any bells. That's not what I thought it was.
But yeah, these pieces right here and this I added on because it looks cooler having extra guns. But you know, they pretty much fold up like this, and you just put them back in the pod and seal them up, and there they are.
Cool.
I think the only other thing that might resonate with people that would, I'm sure, make people jealous is something I've had since I was 5. And I'm not talking about my Beast Wars or my Batman figures. I actually have this.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I found it. Unfortunately, the piece at the top is broke. I wrote on it with black permanent marker to cover up the pieces that were damaged of it, missing stickers earlier on when I was a kid. Krang, unfortunately, is missing an arm.
Oh, he looks so sad.
And this plastic glass thing that was here.
The
hinge broke one year, and it fell off, so I don't have that anymore either.
I think Danner just sold his to Joe at the last Geek sale. I remember having that when I was a kid. I remember going to Target and buying that. Target on Center Road and buying that. And it's really sad. I had that, and my brother lost it.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that at Grand Con last year. And
lost all my turtle stuff.
It was funny because Joe was like, "I will fix it if you let me touch it."
Yep.
And of course, I don't travel out that way very often. So, but I know that they're coming out with a new TMNT Classics version that's supposed to be show accurate. Along with all the other Turtles that they've already released, because they're coming out with Bebop and Rocksteady and the Shredder and Krang and this robot body.
Okay.
It's supposed to be show accurate. So I'm actually quite looking forward to that, because instead of fixing the one I have, I'm going to get that one.
All right, I've got a couple more, 4 things, but they'll go really quick because I can cycle through them really fast. I need to stand up from this, so if I get really distant from the microphone, I'm actually not going to be able to hear what anyone's saying, so I'll just talk real quick and then come sit back down.
Okay.
Let's see. First up, I was able to score, and this one might not show up very well. I was able to score the Captain America Lenticular, which is the 3D poster. I was able to score that from the movie theater. I don't know.
It shows up all right. It's hitting a glare.
And if you tilt it in a certain way, it gets all chipped because it's the Winter Soldier poster. There's that one.
Nice.
Well, I didn't think that Dark Knight Rises was a bad movie. It certainly didn't have bad posters, and this is like one of my favorites. the one with the broken bat mask, and got Bane walking away from everybody, which I thought was kind of neat. There's that one. Let's see. I also liked Man of Steel, which a lot of people didn't like. I've got this one, which I thought was a really neat poster. It's just the S.
Well, like the films or not,
outfit looking stuff, and Henry Cavill looking sad, as all superheroes do. And the last one, I don't know. I just thought I'd grab it and bring it in here. That's another lenticular. It's from Avatar, James Cameron one. The 3D poster. Can't really see it. Probably a bad idea. Look at that. It's the 3D poster. Glare. There we go. Nope, doesn't work. Okay.
So, do we want to get into some
Sit back down here just a second.
some feedback?
Okay, I'm back.
Should we get into some feedback?
Yeah, sure. Let's do some feedback and then.
Call it good?
Yep, we'll call it good.
Alrighty then. We asked the question last week about the what would you like to see in a live show? Did
we get feedback on that?
Kind of, sort of. Eric Hutchinson says, I find it hard to ever watch a live podcast or radio show. I prefer to listen to them on my leisure and rarely listen to everything in one sitting. Like podcasts to me make boring time this much better. Working, driving, or just background noise. And then Superfilm Fan 98 jumps on that one too and says, see, I thought so myself, but I find that I'm watching more stuff on YouTube and Ustream now on my TV than actual TV shows. I do watch a lot of video podcasts live, not many audio ones though. And then Dragono says, yeah, I'm the same way. Wouldn't have huge interest in a live show, honestly. Just too hard to plan around. I prefer my media on demand, whether it be TV, movies, or podcasts.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think the live thing was just letting people, I think it's just one more way for people to consume or interact with it. I wouldn't be surprised, I'm not saying this for Ultra Geek Unlimited, but I wouldn't be surprised to see, off the cuff go, video only, maybe somewhere down the line. Only from the standpoint of, I feel like we could produce a better show. So while we're recording it, why not just, while we're recording the show and we're doing it on the webcams, why not let everyone watch it while we're doing it live and maybe try to get some fan interaction? And then when the show's over, like I talked about at the beginning of this show, I pull it offline and I go in, I add some footage of the games that we're talking about so people know what we're talking about. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen with Off the Cuff. Mainly because I can kind of see running into the problem that you're going to have now, which is we got into the novelty of having the camera, so it's going to be an audio podcast where we're talking about showing everybody something and no one's going to know what we're talking about.
Unless we describe it really well.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that one's going to play out for the audio-only segment, but at least if it's on YouTube, you could put it on in the background. I mean, you could open up YouTube in a separate channel, a separate tab, and let it play, and the audio will still play. It'll be like listening to an audio podcast. And if we're talking about something interesting, you could flip over and watch it. But I don't know. I just thought it'd be one doing a live show while we're recording. It's just another way for people to interact with us. If we have people to interact, that just adds to the liveliness of the show, and spurs greater discussion. And if people don't watch it while we record it live, then that's fine too. But it's there for people to consume if they want. And then there's the archive for people to watch the show however they please, whether it's on their phone, on their computer, or on their TV. And for the time being, there will be an audio version of the podcast. So, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, but that's for off the cuff. I'm pretty sure that Altered Geek Unlimited is going to stay as an audio podcast and this, just depending on, who's on and what day of the week. Because I know there are some people that don't want to be on camera.
It burns us. It burns us.
Yeah, so plus and the novelty of, oh, look at us, we can show you guys stuff, that'll wear off. It's just kind of neat to actually have a camera and be able to show what you're describing.
Yeah, I know. It's sometimes it's hard to describe stuff, just depending.
So,
and then we were talking about the paid podcast last week too.
Yeah, that went over way better than I was expecting it to go over.
I was kind of expecting harsh criticism, but we actually got some pretty constructive criticism on it. So
I actually think, and this might be, if this come across as like egotistical, I think I apologize for that, but that's not how I mean it at all. I actually found it quite nice that, at least what I got from the comments, it sounds like we're producing content that some people wouldn't mind paying for, and I think that's a pretty great compliment.
I'm kind of that's kind of the vibe I got from it too. I wouldn't mind putting stuff out there, and but obviously I want to give people what they actually wouldn't mind paying for. And I heard a couple comments more so. People more so saying that, if it's free, don't try and charge for it. But if it's something that's like bonus or added, then
but that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying like let's charge for like the stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like the quality of the content that we're producing. I think it's a compliment that people wouldn't mind paying for bonus content. Like, we're producing content that people wouldn't mind paying for. We're not going to charge people for like what we already give them, because we've already set a precedent of doing it free. I'm saying it's a compliment that maybe if we'd done it from the beginning where it's like charging, maybe we're producing content that people would pay for, is what I'm saying. Not that they will. They said that they would pay for the content that we're producing. And what I mean by that is, if we were to produce a bonus episode of something, obviously the quality of that bonus episode is going to be the same quality of the shows we're producing for free. It's just going to be a bonus episode. That's what I'm saying. We're producing the quality of the content that we're producing at GeekCast Radio. Some people would be willing to pay for that. Would be willing to pay for that content. That's what I'm saying. I take that as a compliment. I'm not, and I don't take it as, well, let's go ahead and charge them. I'm just saying I take it as a compliment that we're producing content that, people might, pay 99 cents for a bonus episode for or something.
The other thing I was kind of seeing people remark about was if we came up with an app.
I'm not sure how to see the way that I understand like a subscription app like that would work is if you were to you give the app away for free, but you still sell a subscription to your website. Like, one of the other things I've seen people do, and I've actually paid for this, escapist.com, what they do is they give away they do a lot of video shows, and they give all that stuff away. Like, you can watch it in quote unquote low resolution and Flash on your computer for free. Or you can pay them $20 for the entire year, and you can get like an HD version in HTML5 that will play on every single device that you have under the sun, and it's in HD and it's all ad free. And I've paid that. I did that for 2 years. I paid them $40 for 2 years worth of stuff. But what I did is I signed up to it for basically what sucked me into that model was I have an iPad and I love my iPad. Well, everyone knows that Flash doesn't work on iOS devices. And I would go to their website and I couldn't watch their videos. Well, I wanted to watch the zero punctuation videos. And the only way to do that was to pay, $20 for the entire year, and then I could stream them on my iPad because it was all of a sudden I could get the feed in HTML5. And what happened was I paid my $20 and I started watching zero punctuation. I thought it was great to be able to watch it on my iPad, but what I did is I went and explored the other content on their website because it was like all of a sudden I have to add value to what I just paid for. Like, I paid to watch zero punctuation on my iPad, but I didn't want to just say that I paid to watch Zero Punctuation on my iPad, so I went and explored, like, you know, Movie Bob Escape to the Movies, and his I can't remember what his other stuff is, but I did that, and then there was some stuff from like Jim Sterling. Anyways, I added value by going and searching out the other content. But that was like through a subscription thing. So like, as far as like an app goes, I feel like that's one of the things you'd have to do is like if you did the app model, you'd give the app away for free and then find a way to like do like a subscription thing inside of it where if they pay you like if they subscribe to it, all the stuff shows up in the app. I don't know how an app would work. I understand the appeal of an app, but I don't know how an app would work.
Well, see, I've done the app maker type things from certain creative points, but I don't know how to actually make one and make it look nice while it also is able to be downloaded through the stores. Now, mind you, the one that I made years ago for Android phones was because there was like one of those like hold your hand, walk you through, and you know you turn this, this, and this on, and it basically looks like crap. But it didn't really. I mean, I could set it to certain feeds, but it essentially didn't really do anything but link stuff. And then for iTunes, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So.
Well, with iTunes, you need a copy of the SDK, and I am actually a registered developer with Apple. I've never made anything. I just use it to get access to the iOS software early and put it on my phone and hope it doesn't brick my phone every time I update it.
Nice.
But that's how I like to live. I like to live on the bleeding edge like that. I've done that for the last 3 years. I've signed up for the iOS developer program just so I can have the latest version of iOS on my phone before anybody else. But I've never even bothered to look into the developer tools or anything like that. I'm like, I just want access to the software without it bricking my phone. Obviously, these are ongoing discussions we'll have for the time being. I know I was kind of upfront. I'm pretty sure I said this either on the last episode of Altered Geek, but one of the reasons I went to YouTube, wanted to do the live shows too, is because Google makes it really easy to monetize their videos. They just throw the videos in the front and you get a small, percentage of those, if that works. So that's just a way for us to get some kind of revenue. And I'm not saying it's going to work, but it's worth a shot. And now, real quick side note, inside baseball thing, I found out the only time a YouTube person gets paid for an ad that runs in is if that ad gets played to completion. It's like if you choose skip ad, no one gets any money for skipping that ad. And I totally understand skipping an ad, especially like the other day when I wanted to watch like a 5-minute video and there was an 11-minute ad on the front of it.
Are you serious?
I kid you not. It said 11, like if the ad thing like started up and it said 11 minutes. I was like, what? Skip. So what I've started doing, because I found that out in some of the YouTube channels that I use, they use that ad revenue to support themselves. If I'm watching like a 10-minute video and they put like a minute 30-second ad on the front of it, I'll let the ad play. I'll like look at something else or something while it's playing, but I'll let it play. Now that I know that they don't get any money if I click that skip ad, I let it play. That way I can at least be supporting, the videos or the content providers that I actually like on YouTube. I could be supporting them. Another thing that's actually coming too is, I don't know if it's been added already, but YouTube is adding a tip jar.
That's kind of neat in a weird
channels.
sense.
So people can like donate, money directly to your channel. So I don't know if that's started. I haven't seen that anywhere on my end on like the settings in the creation in the page owners stuff. But that's just another option. I just decided to go down that route to see if anything can be done.
Well, the weird thing for me is if I ever try and monetize this show, I'll need to move it to the GeekCast radio channel. For whatever reason, this account, they disabled any kind of monetization because of you remember the AdSense things that they used to have. I had it installed on my old Transformer site when I had it, and I started making money, and then I put it on GeekCast Radio when I started GeekCast Radio, and because I started making actual revenue, and I hadn't even had a chance to cash out yet. They just blacklisted it and killed my account.
I think I had a similar
because
experience.
They said I was damaging to other investors or advertisers, even though I was this itty-bitty site.
I had that same issue with the lunchroom.net, and I know why I got flagged. I know exactly why I got flagged. It was because of my friend that I got flagged. But what my friend was doing is when he would get to work, he would go to the lunchroom.net and click on all the ads. And then he'd go on his phone and click on all the ads. And then when he got home, he would go and click on all the ads. And then he'd click on all the ads again with his phone when he got home. And he did that every day.
Huh.
So the same IP from the same location was always clicking on the same ads, and I got up to, they only disperse money when it gets over $25 is when they start dispersing funds, and I got to $25 through him doing that, and that's when they decided, they were like, they looked at where the ad clicks were coming from, and that's when I got blacklisted. But I haven't seen anything getting flagged for what I've set up now. I mean, but they haven't asked me for any kind of like account information or anything like that. I mean, I've got the off the cuff channel. It's just another means for a way to us to try. It's no different than if we were to read ad copy for something for like Audible or anything like that, really. So I'm trying that. I don't know if it'll have any potential. I don't even know if it'll make anything, but it's there. It's easy and it's free for the most part. But this just ongoing conversations, and like I said, I take it as a compliment that we are producing content that people would pay for a bonus episode of. So that's awesome. Whether or not we choose to do anything like that, that's a completely different story. But it's awesome that people think that we are producing content that is worthy of being paid for.
Yeah, that makes me feel good as well. I wasn't. I guess it's not really something I've thought about.
So it's good to know we're not producing garbage.
So I think that's about it this week.
That's all I got. I think next week might be less show and tell.
Yeah, I think next week it'll be less show and tell, and maybe we'll talk about some kind of diverse stuff that has popped up over the last week. I didn't really want to bring up the unfortunate event of the beginning of the week.
Ferguson, Missouri?
What?
Nothing.
No, I meant the celebrity unfortunate.
Oh. Yeah, don't bring that up with me here.
No. I talked about it on Altered Geek Unleashed briefly, and we have had 3 different coverages or 4 different coverages on the website already through different podcaster articles.
For the listeners, just so just so that we're clear, it's not that I have anything to say good or bad about the guy at all. It's that anytime something like that comes up, I have nothing good to say. Like, not good isn't like good or bad, but just like I have nothing to say.
You have nothing to add to the discussion.
I have nothing to add to the conversation. So, and most of the time when it pertains to that kind of situation, regardless, even like family members or anything like that, I usually end up saying something inappropriate that gets me in trouble anyways. It's just the way that I deal with that stuff. So, yeah, that's why I'm saying don't bring that up with me here, because I'll probably end up saying something inappropriate that may or may not elicit some laughs, but it's wildly inappropriate.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I was going to bring it up, but I kind of decided it's been covered to death by this point.
All right, thank you.
It's unfortunate, but I I think it's time to close that door. But anyways, thank you for listening or watching to Altered Geek Unlimited Live. You can contact us in many different ways. You can get a hold of us on Facebook through the GeekCast Radio Network Facebook fan page, or on Twitter, #AlteredGeek. My Twitter handle is @SCP21, and yours is?
Mine is @BoothNinja81, which I believe you can see at the bottom of my screen.
Yes, you can see it at the bottom of his screen and my screen now.
There we go.
So, yeah, I forgot to take that when I did it. I have a special one of those lower thirds for when my cat jumps on me, too. It's called this. Yeah, that's my cat's name, so she's sleeping right now.
Yeah,
she yelled at me earlier while you were away.
Oh.
So, anyways, as always, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.
Bye.
Bye.